What's good, YouTube? It's your boy DCB, Dean's Controversial Boxing, man. I'm coming to you today, man. We finna talk about this Tank versus Roach, man. What y'all think, man, is gonna happen this time? Tank Davis, 30-0 and one draw coming from Roach. And Roach is 25-1-1. It's competitive now. When they first fought, we all thought that Tank was gonna run through him. We, like we normally think. Tank the guy. We thought he was gonna run through him and just, knock him out like he knock everybody else out. You know what I mean? But what we got this time was a hell of a fighter determined to do the same thing that Tank was planning on doing. You know what I mean? Which surprised me, which surprised the world. We didn't expect Roach, to put up a fight like he did. You know what I mean? And by that happening, there was an element of surprise. You know what I mean? Now, with the second fight coming up, they've been really kind of talking back and forth. And Tank did admit, it was him and his lack of, I guess, drive. When it came to this fight, he kind of, slacked or lacked or whatever. And I can believe that. I can believe that because Tank normally, you see what normally happens. You know what I mean? So I can get him benefit of the doubt on that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that happens. Now, Roach say he know Tank. They actually fought like a few times before this, like in the amateurs. And Tank has always came out on top. But Roach say he had Tank's card. Basically was saying that and telling everybody else that, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is like what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? And he actually showed us, Now, me personally, with the second fight, I'm going to have to go with Tank. And the reason being is because the element of surprise for Lamont Roach is gone now. So if Tank did slack or lack on anything, he's going to extra super duper train to make sure that he's dominant. It made him hungry. It basically woke up a beast, is how I look at it. Now, I could be wrong. They could draw again. I mean, Lamont Roach is a hell of a fighter. Because, what he just did, nobody went and gave Tank hell for 12 rounds like that. You know what I mean? So, can't take nothing from him at all, But I believe that Tank is going to come out on top just because he's going to train extra hard. He's not going to slack on anything that he would normally slack on. Once you become a big-time, big money card fighter, you this big, name in the sport of boxing, sometimes the boxers, they lay back. What I mean by lay back is they get comfortable. They get used to being this champion, used to being this person, and they train less. Mike Tyson did it. You know what I mean? He said a few times he didn't even train because he was knocking people out. And he was knocking them out without training as well. You know what I mean? But that sometimes come bite you in the ass when another fighter coming up. You know what I mean? That's really, that's really dangerous. So I think that Lamont Roach is going to bring his A game like a mug because he's going to have to. And I know Tank going to bring his A game because he got something to prove. Basically, they both actually have something to prove. Lamont got to prove that this wasn't no fluke. Now, you got to prove that this wasn't an accident or a bad night for Tank. You know what I mean? You got to prove that. And Tank got to prove that it was a bad night for him. He got to prove, that he's still the person he say he is. You know what I mean? He got to prove that that was a fluke and I was just being lazy. I was laid back and I didn't give it my all. You got to prove that. You know what I mean? And that pressure is on. The pressure is on. And it even got other people in the background talking. You know what I mean? Other champions. Well, I ain't going to say champion, but Schofield, Floyd, Schofield. The stuff in the media, they was like snapping at Tank. You know what I mean? What they'll do to Tank, and Tank said, I'd knock his ass out. You know what I mean? Which I honestly on that fight, I think that Schofield's not quite ready because he need I think he need a little bit more, I guess a little bit more let me see, experience. A little bit more experience, you know what I mean, before he go in there because Tank a tricky fight. It's not just a regular fight. You don't have to be an excellent fighter, but if you got enough experience, you're gonna see certain shit. But if you don't have the proper experience and you got a tricky ass fighter, you probably gonna get caught. It's not. I don't think it's time for Schofield. That's my personal opinion. If they fight, I'm gonna watch. It's gonna be a badass fight. I guarantee it's gonna be a badass fight. Cause Schofield is a young up and coming hungry man. He gonna come at it. You know what I mean? So I don't knock him on that. I just think that he need to get a little more seasoning. You know what I mean? Before he jumping there with Tank. But that's my opinion on it. You know what I mean? So, but with Lamont Roach 2, I'm gonna go with Tank, man. What you guys think? Like, how do you feel? Your honest opinion on how you feel this fight could go. Me personally, like I said, I'm taking Tank. I'm taking Tank because of some effect. You got to show me that that was a fluke before I feel like betting elsewhere to win money. Basically what I'm saying. Before I ain't gonna say jump bandwagon because I'm always like Tank as a fighter. But when it comes to betting, that's business. So I'm gonna put my money where I feel like it's gonna win. And right now, I feel like Tank still got it. I feel like that was really a night off for him, and I believe it woke him up and put fire and hunger in him. You know what I mean? So I'm putting my money with Tank. Who you put your money with, man? Let me know. Man, make you some parlay, do something, man, because it's gonna be an exciting fight, man. It's gonna be an exciting fight, man, and they both got something to prove, man, and I want to see you prove it to each other. Let me see who really mean what they saying. Let me check that out. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you guys stopping by, man. Hopefully you guys come back and join me again. Then y'all hit that like, subscribe, and that bell, man, to get updates notification for content I'm bringing out, man. And like I said, I appreciate you guys. You taking your time to stop by, man. This your boy DCB, Dean Controversy Boxing, man. Who you got? Roach or Tank? Let's talk about it. Peace.